Hello there everyone and welcome to a new video. This is going to be a mock update on a recent mock that I've been building. It's a samurai themed mock. This is a mock that I'm going to be bringing to Brickworld Chicago 2022, and this is part of a larger group layout that I will be talking about later on in the future. And this is going to be the part that I'm building. Everyone's building a bunch of different themes and different eras and things like this. Throughout the whole LEGO theme, there's all sorts of things that people are building. I decided to go ahead and choose the samurai theme. I have been getting into samurai history for about the past year and a half now, and I've just found it so interesting, and I've loved diving deep into the history, so I really wanted to build something samurai themed. So I'm going to be building a samurai castle. This is a castle I'm kind of basing off of a current day Osaka castle and a bunch of elements from video games like Ghost of Tsushima and things like that. So I've got a lot of progress done on the build so far. This is just going to be a small series where I kind of update you guys, I don't know, every once in a while whenever I get significant amount of progress. This is not going to be anything like the Muunilinst mock update videos where I'm frequently doing update videos and kind of showing you guys very small things along the way. These are just going to be large updates where I get a bunch of stuff done and I kind of update you guys every once in a while. So here's episode 1 of the Samurai Castle update series, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so here is the mock. Right off the bat, I'm going to apologize for the setup. This is kind of in the corner of my LEGO room due to Muunilinst taking up most of the space, so this is kind of in a corner right now, so that means the video setup is not very good. I really apologize for that, but nonetheless, I just wanted to do this update anyways, as I kind of said in the intro. But here is what I've got done so far. I've got a lot done so far, and again, this is just going to be an update every once in a while for this mock. It's not going to be like a weekly thing where I show you every little bit of progress. This is just going to kind of be a couple overall big episodes and showing some progress. So probably doesn't look very flattering right now, especially the main castle part from this angle. It doesn't look the best. So this is just the side of the castle. I'll try to get another angle soon and show you guys the front. So that'll be the front of the castle. One side right here, another side right there, and it'll kind of go up a couple levels. You'll see that throughout the next couple updates. Base layer down there, a bunch of masonry and light gray. A lot of the times on the castles you'll see these kind of rocks. I decided to just go with a light gray pattern with some masonry. That makes it kind of strong foundation underneath built up. Got the first row with a bunch of windows right there. First roof right here, this will eventually be covered in sand green tiles once I get those in. And then every once in a while on the sides, there's these kind of triangle shapes. There's some different ones on the front, but on the sides, this is the kind of design that I went with. So you can see I've got a bunch of 1x2 tiles in there with some windows, and then of course some gold pieces and some sand green in there, and then the secondary roof on top. And I hope to go up another level that'll kind of be like this, so there'll be another level like that, and then the top where there's a little overwatch position where a bunch of people can stand and things like that. So yeah, probably doesn't look like much now because it's kind of in a rough shape without any of the tiles and whatnot. But here's kind of one side of the castle. If we go down here to the bottom, you can see there's kind of an outer wall surrounding the castle. A lot of the references that I looked at, there's always some sort of, there's a lot of walls and kind of winding paths and all these kind of roads and different structures of walls that kind of block the main castle as like a bunch of outer defense walls. Decided to include one of those, so that does go all the way around the mock. It's really hard for me to get to that other side, so this is kind of going to be the side that I'm showing you guys it, but for Brickworld it'll be presented from that side, so you'll look this way if that makes sense. Probably a bunch of confusing stuff, but nonetheless, here we are. So here is the wall design that I went with. Very similar to the actual castle, except for you can see I've used slopes on the bottom, and they go all the way down, a little easier to see over here. A lot of the walls I looked at did have kind of slope up, so I decided to use some slope pieces and then build on top of those for this outer wall right there, and I think it actually looks pretty good. Next, we've got this side path area, and I wanted to make this part very detailed, even though it's going to kind of be hidden behind the trees, just because if you look at it from far away on the sides, I want this to be really detailed and kind of have it build up into the mountain where you've got this nice part down here, and then built up into the castle right there. I just want it to all kind of blend together really well, and then of course mountain right there. So the idea is to have a mountain that goes all the way up and across. It's going to take a lot of pieces, so we'll see how much I have, but I do want this mountain to go up pretty high and go across. So it'll also, so the same thing you see on this side down here will also be on that other side down there. So the mountain will go up and there'll be paths and kind of different terrain. The mountain will go up, come across, and connect with that bottom. And then ideally, If you guys remember my From Start to Finish series, my first one I did was a samurai build. That was kind of a practice for this one, believe it or not. If you remember those dueling ring that I made, this one kind of dueling ring where the two factions sent like one person to fight each other, kind of surrounded by trees and terrain. I would love to have one or two of those up top on top of the mountain, so it's just not flat. I'd love to have those dueling rings, one on each side, with a couple of those purple or white trees. I think that'll look really, really awesome. Here's a closer look at what I've got done on the side so far. Not much to go off of for the mountain yet, but I wanted to get started on it before I had to head back to college. So it's built up a little bit there. Using light gray, I've never actually used light gray for a mountain, so I've done so much mountain work building Lego that I usually don't want to ever do mountain work again or rock work, but the light gray color does switch it up and actually makes me excited for some weird reason. So I guess I'm just very simple. If I just change the color that I'm building with, apparently that'll make me more motivated to build a mountain, as tedious as they can be. So there's the start of the mountain. Not much yet, but stay tuned. That'll get some more progress here, and that'll be looking pretty good. And down over here, I decided to include a little bit of water. I wanted to have kind of a pond or something down here. So that's what I'm using these lights, kind of trans blue pieces with some different blue shades underneath it. So you can kind of see some darker areas where it's supposed to be a little deeper, and some other areas where it's a little shallower, just depending on what I put underneath the tiles, different blues and shades of blue to give it that effect. Surrounding the water are a bunch of plant pieces. These are new plant pieces that I've never really used before, and I'm kind of just tucking them in, so they're not actually placed anywhere. They're all kind of just tucked into each other, and kind of friction is holding some of them together, and they're kind of just placed around the pond to give it some vegetation that goes around the pond and kind of outlines it. And I think it looks pretty good. Sorry, it's a little dark right here again. Not a good place for videos over in this corner, but I'm doing my best, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, a bunch of different leaves and plants around here. I really do like these pieces. I think they look pretty nice. And for the color scheme, going with olive green, dark brown, and then we transition into brown as we go down this way. And the brown is supposed to be more down here because it transitioned eventually into the golden forest, which is brown colors primarily on the terrain based. But here is the path. This is a large scale build, and it's kind of another side build that I'm doing along with Muunilinst. So essentially what that means is I'm kind of using a lot of maybe not as detailed techniques for like a road. For instance, since this road has to cover so much, I can't just use 1x1 plates because I would run out instantly. So I really have to spread them out and just use a lot of the circular flat studs like those, and I think it still looks good, especially from far away when they kind of blend in together and just give it that pebble kind of cobblestone path idea. Ideally, I'd love to just use a bunch of 1x1 plates, kind of like I did on a few other mocks, including Muunilinst, but that's just not possible for how big this mock is and how big the path is going to be. But the path kind of goes through there. I actually think the olive green and dark green is a really cool color combo that I experimented a little bit with, I think, in that samurai mock I did a while back. And with the light gray, olive green and light gray, I just think work really well together, and that's kind of why I chose to do a light gray or light bluish gray mountain. I think it just works really well with the olive green. So here's the path. We've got some just villagers working. I guess I didn't really show over here. We've got a guy kind of mending the water, kind of just, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's cleaning the water with a little oar. Who knows what he's doing? He's just there. We've got kind of a Ronin over here. I really do love samurai history, and I think Ronin with like straw hats and just their black kimonos or brown kimonos, I just think they're so cool. I just really love that idea. So they're kind of chilling over there, and then along the path we've got more villagers hanging out, and of course some more Ronin or like straw hat gang. If you guys have played Ghost of Tsushima, which this mock has influence, a lot of that has come from Ghost of Tsushima, including the Golden Forest, which I will talk about right now. We've got a path in there. It's going to be hard to kind of see because my camera is so big, it's hard to get in there. But essentially there's a little path in there, and we've got some flowers outlining the path, different shades of yellow to kind of give it some different texture. But yeah, this is definitely inspired from the Golden Forest and Ghost of Tsushima. These kind of bright light orange flowers I think are just really beautiful in Lego, and I've always envisioned doing a Golden Forest type thing. Once I came across that part of the map in Ghost of Tsushima, I knew I had to recreate it one day in Lego. So that's kind of what this is, and it goes all the way across to the main entrance of the castle, which I will show in a little bit, and it kind of goes all the way through. You can see some figures over there, but this is the Golden Forest. Here's an up-top view, so we've got two sides of the forest. This one right here, which I just kind of showed you guys, and the path kind of runs through it there, as you can see. And then on the other side, there is another Golden Forest area over here. Not as many trees on this side, but I think that's all right. The focus is kind of on this closer side over here, but we've got another part of the Golden Forest over there. Same path, same design trees, pretty much everything is the same. I just don't have any flowers to add in there yet. And then in the middle, as you can see, it's a path that leads up to the castle, and essentially I've outlined it with some grass pieces, and then I've put some, this is also inspired by Ghosts. There's a lot of these awesome fields with like kind of white flowers, and you can kind of touch them with your fingers as you ride by in your horse. There's some game features like that in Ghosts of Tsushima, and essentially I wanted to recreate that as well. So I've used actually the kind of smoke cotton ball pieces that you would find, I think they're just called ice cream cones, or they're like ice cream. If you're looking on Bricklink, they're under like food and drinks, I think. But they're the little ice cream parts. I use them for smoke a lot. I just put them on top of grass pieces like that, and I actually think it looks really cool and gives it a nice touch. And here is the front of the castle. I apologize again for the lighting on this side, it's a little rough, but here's what the front of the castle looks like, where the audience essentially looks from. We've got the front of the castle and the two sides of the Golden Forest. Ideally, I want to get some more grass pieces in so I can cover up this whole area, so there's all these white flowers that lead up to the castle, and then the Golden Forest on each side. And then if we go in here towards the actual castle itself, you'll see that I've went with a couple of different designs, obviously not finished. You can see I don't have any more sand green slopes to cover those sides, but these are kind of those window things I was speaking of. But essentially, if we go down here, here is the entrance to the castle. There's a little closer look at those white flowers with the grass pieces. There's a path that I used using some 1x1 of those studs again, and then some kind of round, the triangle pieces that are, I have no clue what the name of them are, but they're these triangle pieces, and then they're just a dark bluish gray tile. I've kind of put them in an interesting formation around the 1x1s and kind of created a cool path like that. I've got some samurai up here at the front. I've actually, since I've recently started collecting these samurai figures, they are really cool, and I love the armor. So I've got my dark green faction over there, and then some of my red faction over here with their armor, and they're just kind of walking up to the castle. But here is the entrance to the castle. We've got some stairs down there, and then a little bit of a roof, and some flags, some golden flags. There's a lot of gold. I think it's pearl gold is the name of that color, kind of spread out throughout the castle, so I thought that'd be a really good spot to start off with for the actual entrance to the castle itself. And up here, we've got a little closer look at the actual main part of the castle. Down here, again, first layer with a bunch of window pieces, and going up, there's the roof, which will be covered with sand green tiles once I order some more of them. And then here's some of the kind of bigger windows that stick out right there, and you can see this one, what it's going to look like with the slopes and everything. And we go up, another roof, and then of course it's going to keep going up, hopefully 2 more levels, but that's going to be a lot of pieces, so we'll have to see about that. Here's a little bit of a closer look at the Golden Forest from this front side, and you can kind of see, as I do some focus in there, there's the flowers that you saw earlier and the rest of the Golden Forest down there. And we kind of go through here. There's the white flowers with the grass. There are our samurai guarding the front of the castle entrance right there, looking very cool. Absolutely love the samurai figures and their armor. For some reason, it's just really cool, especially after getting into samurai history and everything like that over the past year. It's really fun to build some of this stuff with those minifigures. And we go over here. Here is the other half of the Golden Forest. You know, very unique name. But anyway, here's the rest. It's a little bare right now because I don't have any flowers or anything in there, but I will get some of those in there as well. And the front of the castle right here. Hopefully you guys think it looks nice so far. It is a little rough just because there's so much stuff that's incomplete, but give it some time and the castle is gonna look pretty nice. But there's kind of minifig scale too, just for the first couple layers of the castle, and it's going to keep going up, hopefully 2 more, as I said. So it's going to be a fairly big castle in terms of like minifig size. So I'm very excited to continue the castle, but here's kind of the front side shape. Not much, but hopefully you can get an idea of kind of where I'm going with this design and the front of the castle overall. I think the bright light orange flowers accent really well with the white of the castle and sand green and everything like that. So hopefully you guys like this front part, and I think that's about it. Everything to show in this update for the Samurai Castle. So that is the front of the castle so far. Lots of work still left to be done, but I am happy with the progress that I've gotten so far. Hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully I was able to capture some of this and give you guys a good look at what I've got going so far. And I'm very excited to keep building the project. I've been having a ton of fun building this different theme alongside with Muunilinst. Just a good creative difference to kind of have those two builds side by side. So here is the progress on the Samurai Castle so far, and let's go ahead and get on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. This is something a little bit different. I wasn't going to do a build series at first, but I decided, you know what, I've got all this progress done, I might as well document it. Maybe some of you guys are samurai fans out there, or maybe this will inspire some of you guys to get into samurai history or samurai Lego stuff, because I think it's very fascinating, and there's not a ton of builds out there that are kind of this subject with samurai and things like that. So that's kind of why I did this series, and hope you guys enjoyed the progress that I made. As always, you know, give me some feedback in the comment section on what parts you like. Is there stuff that you don't like? Is there anything I should modify or fix, or is there anything I could add to the mock? All sorts of stuff like that, and I'll be posting these occasionally, every once in a while when I get a good amount of progress done. So don't expect these all the time. They'll just be coming out every once in a while leading up to Brickworld Chicago, and they'll just kind of be a mock that I'm doing, and this whole series will kind of go alongside the Muunilinst mock update series, but obviously Muunilinst will be a little more frequent. So speaking of Muunilinst, stay tuned for the next couple updates. Some very exciting stuff coming down the pipe with Muunilinst, especially since we've expanded it now, and I'm going to build the giant tower and the cannon and everything like that. So very exciting stuff on the channel, and stay tuned for that. As always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.